friends, my name is Megan and welcome to episode 111 of a Naughty Mess Knitting Podcast. Sorry, I got distracted when I said 111 because it just makes me think of 11st, which is what Bilbo says for his 111th birthday. Anyway, that's my nerd coming out. If you are new here, welcome to my little corner of the internet where we talk about all things fiber related and some books. So my name is Megan. I live in the Pacific Northwest, just north of Seattle, with my husband Mike, our daughter Theo, our dog Winter, and my mom Cindy. And I am here to talk about knitting and crocheting and spinning. Sometimes cross stitch, though I think I'll just do it at my quarter end wrap up is when I'll show you my cross stitch next time. I haven't skipped very many Sundays, but I did skip this past Sunday because we were busy doing a bunch of stuff and I just wanted to knit on something Sunday night and not pick out the cross stitch. So maybe I'll make up a day this week. But we're here to talk about things like what I finished, what I'm wearing, which this week is a newly finished object in case you didn't catch that. I'll stand up and I'll show you some stuff. And then what I'm working on, what I've been spinning. I am going to swap the order, maybe just for the foreseeable future, just with the book snake and stuff. I kind of want to just have that be my last whip and books right at the end. So I'm going to move spinning to right after what I'm wearing, and or newly finished objects, just before whips. I don't think this matters, but in case you were wondering, you could always skip that if you're not a spinner. And then, I talk about what I've been reading or what I read last week, and I think that's it. Is that it? Yeah. And the other things, just this week, not much else to catch up on, just a lot of whips and things. We've got 2 cowl sort of things happening right now, and so we'll talk about those. And yeah, just overall really excited to talk to you this week. So let's go forward with what I'm wearing this week, which is a brand new finished object. My only finished object this week. Yes. I have new cast-ons though, so yeah, lots of things to talk about. Actually, I think it's only one new cast-on. You guys, I have been trying to keep some finishing momentum. Also, I feel like my whip number is going crazy and I am trying to work on them every week and not just let things go by the wayside, which has felt a lot. So I'm going to continue finishing and then casting on, which is what I did this week. So here we are with the Kaarina tee. This is a pattern by Sari Nordland. It's been out for a few years. It's been in my queue for a few years, and this yarn I've had for quite a while. I did a lot of pattern matching 2 years ago, and then last year moved that into my freeform. And I'll do an update on my freeform also at quarter end, which I have a couple things that I would still like to start this year, maybe not finish, but start this year. And, I've rearranged where my categories are and stuff. So anyway, this was on my freeform and it didn't feel like a very exciting project, but one of the things that's been just in the back of my mind is I do a flat lay every year. For anyone who's new and has no idea what that means, I take all of my yarn behind me. Most of this is all that gets pictured. I have some extra yarn. I have some bags of yarn that also get pictured. And so it's really all my wool, not really acrylic or acrylic blends, just the wool stuff and cotton and, just basically not the acrylic things. I don't have a ton of acrylic. I've got a couple cubbies full and 2 little bins, short bins that are old, mostly just leftovers. But anyway, all this gets laid out on the floor in my house and I take pictures of it. And then throughout the year, I cross it out. So if you want to see that at the quarter end, it'll be the first episode after the quarter, probably. I'll do a stats recap. I'll do my flat lay update. I'll do a freeform update and a cross stitch update. It'll be an episode of updates. But I was looking at my flat lay and I was like, what are things I don't want to take pictures of again? That is what I was going for here. This is one of those things. I did not want to take pictures of this yarn again. It didn't look exciting to me, laying out this yarn. And even in the project plan, I was like, it's not my most thrilling color, obviously. But I really wanted, I realized of my t-shirt game, which I'm still trying to up my t-shirt game here, I don't have a lot of neutrals. I got a lot of things that go with stuff that I wear frequently, but I have several teal t-shirts at this point. I have like a couple ready pink t-shirts and an orange one. 2 orange ones. God, why do I have 2 orange t-shirts? But I don't have like a gray or a white, or I have 1 black one, but it's itchy, so I don't wear it very often. Anyway, it also has tassels on it, so it doesn't get it in the rotation very often. This one I thought would be really nice for video calls, etc. So I picked this pattern. I picked a size 4, so it's supposed to be 51.5 inches, and I'm pretty on for final measurements and everything. So I'm going to stand up so you can see what it looks like on me, and I'm going to show you one really horrible thing that happened. I'm in a bit of a time crunch this week, so I'm not rearranging the camera. So here I am wearing this. I'm like leaning against the bookcase. This is as much as you can get of me. I actually really love it. I was not concerned about my gauge. I did not gauge swatch, and I accidentally did this on smaller needles than suggested, but this yarn is rather crunchy and not crunchy, like it's actually kind of soft. It's thick and it doesn't have like the bounce of wool because there's no wool in this. So I'll tell you again about the yarn mix in a minute, but I've been sitting today, you can tell like where my lap is because of like the folds I'm getting in this. But anywho, I think it actually looks great. I like it a lot. Things you did not see last week. Last week I had the collar done and a lot of the body, like maybe to here. So I added sleeves, and then I was just going to add a little bit of length, but I was like, you know what? I need to get this off my needles. I want to be able to wear it a couple times this end of summer time. We usually have pretty nice falls here, so I knew I could wear this even if it was like also with a cardigan, if it was in the morning or something. I think from back here, wow, those arches look beautiful. This Kaarina means arches, and also is Sorry Nordland's mother's middle name. That's part of the written in the pattern. It does have these really wide sleeves, and these are a little wider than pattern. I'll talk about the mods in a second, which was really that's like my biggest mod. And yeah, I just think it looks so good. It looks really good in this. There's a row, specific row she tells you to go to, and then you do your ribbing. Now, when I got there, I think that it was supposed to be like 12 inches, and then so it's like a 13-inch long from here. Again, the mod is that I accidentally like wasn't paying attention that much, also gauge and things, knit my back a little bit longer than it needed to be for the armhole. And so then I had to knit my front, and I did rip out a couple of rows, but I didn't want to rip out a ton. So my front armhole, I had to match the row. So overall, this is about 1 inch longer. This is still about 2 inches shorter than the length of the garment than maybe would have been. But this is a perfect height. Like this is the perfect place for a tee to be for me. So like right above my fullest hip. I think that's like a flattering place for something like this that has room and give. The drape is nice in this. So even though there is quite a lot of ease in this, it is draping nice. Like it looks a lot like the Sorry pictures. Like hers looks cute. I don't really French tuck all that much, but if we like French tuck like her pictures, like it's cute. I think it's really cute. So this is where we are sleeve wise. So because my boo-boo mod on the back being a little bit long, anyway, my armhole is just a little bit longer, so I just decided to pick up 4 out of 5 stitches and go with that, so I wouldn't like cinch in the armhole weirdly. So it is about 12 stitches longer, or like wider around than it needed to be. It was going to be wide anyway, but this ended up being like 20 inches. Like it's quite big, but I mean the sleeves were floopy looking, so like to me I didn't think that would really matter that much. I decided not to do short rows though, because once I picked them up and I saw what this drop was looking like, it is quite dropped, and I didn't want to have too much so that this is hanging way past my elbow, because then I don't think it feels very much like short sleeves, and this feels like short sleeves like as it is, even though they are longer and they give me full coverage. So that's what I like. I love it. Okay, here's the bad thing. I'll show you the back, because then you can see sort of where the back line is. You'll see something. I don't know if it's super obvious. No, it doesn't look super obvious on here. Maybe it's not that obvious. I have a big, giant blue stain. I think I know what it's from, which is so dumb. But I had this on my desk for a little bit, like a couple of days ago, and I do think I just had a blue pen nearby it, and maybe it didn't have a cap on, or it was a clickable kind. I don't even know where that pen is right now, but I think it was sitting between two pieces of fabric, and you could see it before, but there's blue on just two little dots like this. There's blue, like deep blue. It's not super obvious on, so I'm not going to worry about it. It's also on the back, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I washed it, dried it, turned it around. Didn't notice this while I was working on the end of it because it wasn't done when I had set it on my desk. And I was like, what is this from? So I soaked it again with a little OxyClean, not even thinking what it was. Duh. If it's a pen, I think that hairspray is supposed to help lift out pen stain. Because this didn't get dried and, not hot water or anything, it's possible that I still might be able to get a little bit of that out next time I wash it. I will hopefully remember to do that. And I think you just spray. I mean, honestly, it's going to sit there. Maybe I'll wash it again just end of season. So in a month. But that's the only thing I know that's supposed to lift out pen stains. Obviously you're probably supposed to do it right away and not soak it, etc. But I just don't care that much. This is what I've decided. So I have a blue spot. If it was really bothering me, I could also duplicate stitch this because that's not that hard to do. It would add a little bit of bulk right there, but I have 2 full skeins left of this. Another thing I want to use was more yarn, but I was not going to add length just to add length, right? I want it to fit the way that I'll actually wear it. So there's that, have blue pen, whatever. Pay better attention next time. At least it's on a shirt that I'm not gonna really cry over, and it didn't bleed into other areas. It's a very concentrated little dot. Okay. I put my modifications in Ravelry, just the little adjustment I made. I did make this shorter than suggested, like I said, but ending at the row 14. And then, okay, so I measured it 51 1/4. So just under what with the fold and stuff, it maybe is more 51 1/2 inches, at the bust, under the underarm. My sleeve circumference is 20 inches, and I measured just across the middle. Oh, I'll show you these sleeves again in a second too. The sleeve length is 4.5 inches, and it's all the same everywhere. So I just measured from, pickup edge across. The length from underarm to hem is 10 inches, but the total garment length is 21 inches, which is really good. So that's a sweet spot for me. What I didn't show you for the sleeves is you can kind of see there's no well, you can see the edge. I mean, it just got a little bit of a flare because you actually sew it down. So you do 8 or 9 rows in a smaller needle, which didn't make a ton of difference with this, even though it was all the way down to a 3mm needle. You do a purl edge, so it does lay nice and flat, and then you sew it down. And I think that's just so that you don't have that twisted look on the sleeves, which I don't know why it would have been really different. Maybe also to give it a little bit of weight. I don't hate it. I mean, I'm going to keep it how it is. This is a sewn bind off with the row, and then I did that also at the hem the same way, and I did the right twisted or the right leaning stitch, so you can kind of see. Let me twist it around so you can see a piece of it. It does have this leg here is this leg here is right leaning a little bit. I don't know. I think that the cable definition looks really nice, though. It looks nice in person. Even with this, a little bit tweedy, a little bit textured yarn. I really enjoy it. So let's do some ratings. You cannot get this yarn anymore, so I hate to rate it for you and be you should get it. I didn't hate working with this yarn. It had an okay finger feel, though I did call it wet before, and somebody else did. They were I know what you mean. It's just not that dry feeling of a non-superwash wool. It has a little bit of that cottony silk feeling. I would totally use another blend that was similar. What I didn't love about this is because of the way it was stranded, sometimes I would, especially in the cables, with picking them up because I don't use a cable needle, I would sometimes get caught in just one of the little plies, and some of the plies were they were different diameter plies. Some of them were really thin and would just get kind of stuck, and that was a little bit annoying. I think that was the nylon usually. It's fine. You can't get this. If you can find some on D-Stash, I did think this was pretty good. It was a great summery type yarn. I do have 2 skeins of it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It's not that many yards. It's like, you know, so it's 2 skeins of 50 grams. So like 100, just over 100 grams, including like a little bit of scraps. So it's like 250 yards or something. Like, I can't do anything with 250 yards. If somebody wants this yarn, let me know. If you have something similar, a different color, you want contrast, just let me know. I would give it to you. Anyway, so yarn similar, something I would totally use. Like I said, if you go on Yarn Sub, there actually is pretty good suggestions that look similar, like have the tweedy slubby cotton mix, different compositions though that I would totally go for in a future yarn. I don't want a ton of DK weight t-shirts. I want a couple more fingering weight t-shirts, but I think this is like a really, like, I'm gonna wear this a lot. I think this will be nice and breathable in the summer stuff too. Pattern. I enjoyed this pattern. Like making it a lot. I think the chart was fun. It was interesting. The cables were fun and interesting. It was a long chart, so it's not like really memorizable, but it was not hard to follow. The instructions I thought were fine. Nothing to write home about. They were regular sari instructions. I think sometimes they get a little bit wordy for me and like how she does her explanations instead of just like follow chart. I'm like, why is there so much words before this? I do have actual pattern gripe to talk about later, but not sorry. So this one was fine. I mean, definitely like nothing missing, nothing really confusing. I don't think I saw any like big mistakes or anything. So cool, whatever, normal. I really love the outcome and I do like the fit of this. So I would say if you were on the fence, I'm hoping this will have pushed you to, oh, that is cute and like moves well in person and, you know, whatever. So that's that. I don't have any other finished objects this week, so let's talk about yarn. I know I showed you some of this last week, but I didn't show any of it. Everything's skeined up now, sort of. So here, and fully dry. So here's my finished falling leaves from Backloop, Yarn and Fiber, and Polworth. So these are all things I either finished the spin on or just, actually the first 3 things I just plied with my new auto winder from Level Wind System. I am really in love with it. This I did a 2-ply first just to get myself like acquainted with the thing. I actually finished this second, and this is my I'm going to use this as, I have a video I'm going to put on Instagram today, hopefully. That is my first chain ply on this. I'm going to do another chain ply soon, actually, just because that's kind of what I'm itching to do. But this is from Hello Lavender, the Tropical Sunset. And it was really fun to chain ply on there. Just like the rhythm of not having to switch where your flyer hook is and everything. Then I finished this kind of mammoth. This one's really big. I had a lot of room on a bobbin. I just went until I finished because I knew I would just, you know, it's fine for leftovers. Same. So this is the one I think I showed you was not washed last week. This washed really beautifully. Super plump, super nice. This is 50% polypay, which I got from Shaggy Bear Farms, I think, from Rose City last year. This past year. I got that skein, and then I got, I had Mum's the Word from the Dame something, whatever that is, Wool and the Dame, and that is that was Rambouillet or Merino, I'm not sure. Another like similarly soft fiber, and they looked pretty different at first, like just with the rewind of the bobbin. One of them definitely looked a little bit more brown, one looked more purple, but this is exactly how I thought it would come out. This really like rich goldeny purple brown kind of fun thing. I don't know that I'll use this for me because these colors don't like sing to me to wear, but I'll probably make some sort of accessory for somebody with it. Really pretty though, and super soft. This Polworth feels pretty soft, and I mean, this was Falkland, I think, and this is not as soft. Like, I don't know, I think partly because like the 3-ply is really rounded. I don't know, it was fine. I will say I'm a little bit I think this will knit up nicely, but I'm gonna knit maybe a size bigger needles, okay, for the next thing I'm gonna show you. This one I didn't show you at all, and I told you I probably wouldn't. I will put a picture here first of my 3 bobbins completed. I did take a picture of them. Maybe I'll even do one better and do both in the fiber, because I took a picture of all the fiber first, and then the bobbins, and then the yarn. So let's excuse this one for a second. This is my podcasters. So the darkest color here is Marlene. The middle color is Casey from Young Folk. And the lightest color is Airy Knits. And this is from Yarn Jam. All of this is Yarn Jam. It's her Shanico Rainbow Tweed from the podcaster collection. That was last fall. I was just saving these because I love them so much. But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get them all started. I did the Airy Knits color on my like spun it regularly on my like Ladybug Shocked flyer, and then that's when, and I had that single done, and then I did both the Casey and Marlene colors on my Level Wine system too. I don't think that the singles I've noticed much difference. It's obviously easier, and I have a really smooth spin time because I just can go and go and go. My Marlene color for some reason was a lot lower yardage. I don't know. I think it was my last one, and I think I was rushing it a little bit. So it's definitely, I ran out. Okay. So these two skeins are all that I had with the three of them. This is to the last for the Marlene color. I'm going to open one of them to show you how gorgeous these colors really are though. It's very greeny. And this is going to be, I'm going to make an accessory for myself with this. Even though these are just like way more earthy tones than I would normally wear for myself or choose for myself. But you can see there's some teals. There's a lot of like, the golden colors I think is mostly from Ariel, though some of the like browns in Marlene's would blend into a little bit like a lighter golden color. Mostly the like lighter ply is all Ariel. And then the darkest ply is Marlene, and so you just get like a marriage of the two of those, and there's quite a lot of that extra green depth is from Casey's color. So I don't know, it's just like really pretty. It was really fun to do this as a combo spin. So my plan is to make a traveler shawl with this. This is more yardage than I need for the traveler cowl, which I could do without any issues, but I had quite a lot of the Casey and Ariel colors left, even enough Ariel that I think I wound that off onto one of my monster bobbins. But yeah, I don't know. I'm married to the idea more of the shawl than the cowl. So because I had the two extra, I had a bunch of, from a spin I did a couple of months ago. This here was the Superwash Merino combo spin. And the Superwash Merino in this, I think, was from Southern Cross or something like that, fibers. And so I took that teal, that darker ply for this one, and I added it to the greens that were left over. So the lighter Ariel color and then the greeny Casey color. And so this does look quite different. Like this is much bluer than this is, but this is obviously much bluer than this is. So, but I need the yardage. This is not that much yardage. This is like 580 yards or something like this. This is very much more DK weight. It feels kind of hefty. This is not going to give me a ton more yardage, but is giving me something like 100 and something yards. So I'm going to be really close to like 750 yards. Yeah, 750-ish yards. So I still may not have enough for like the full shawl. But here's my thought, is because I don't know something about this 3-ply. I did quite a tight 3-ply. You can see how rounded that is. And I did that on purpose because that's what I prefer to knit with. But because it's tighter like that, it's not quite as soft as I thought it would feel. This is all Shanico. It's still soft. It's very soft to the touch, but it just feels hardier. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to knit it one size, like needle size bigger, to give myself just more drape in the shawl. And then I will go until I mean, honestly, probably till I use this whole skein, which is a heftier one, and a little bit of this one, because there is math. Someone's done the math. It's like 61% or something of all of your yarn has to go into your first side. And so if you get to that number of yardage used or weight or whatever, then you need to swap to your second side and you just like finish the repeat, or, you know, go back so that you're not over, and then you use the rest. And so I'll probably stripe this into the second side, the shorter side of it, and I'm going to be okay with that. So that is my plan. I don't know when I'm going to start this. I think Emily is spinning for an Andrew Mowry shawl right now, and I think Katie is also potentially spinning for an Andrew Mowry shawl. So anyway, I will probably join them with just like a cast on whenever they do that later this fall. So here's that. A lot of spins finished recently. My bobbins are totally empty. I didn't put anything else on this week. I just finished that up over the last few days, got it washed, got it dried, and just call it good for right now. I haven't spun anything like 2 days. I'm just sort of taking a minute to evaluate what I want to work on. I've got quite a few bats I would like to start doing a little bit more long draw practice, but I also have so much of this still. Like some of these colors here are not anything significant I'm waiting for. I could spin my Abbye. I could spin, I actually think this might be the next one I do, and just finish out most of my podcaster colors. And this is Emily's. And I do have more still of the podcasters. I have one Ariel that's not tweed and one of mine that is tweed. And that one I'm going to save for a little bit longer because I'm not ready. But this is for Gently Chaotic for Emily Curtis's podcast. And I want to do a chain ply with this. And I actually want to do a potentially no breaking it up chain ply, because I want long color repeats because they're so primary color focused. That's a thought. That's my current thought. I don't know. I'm undecided, and that's okay. That's an okay place to be. I can take either a week off and then think about it, or I'll just see where I feel like, maybe tomorrow, and maybe I'll take like 15 minutes and get something on the wheel. Let's go through whips and let's crush this because I've got quite a lot of things on the needles. As always, I'm going to give you a super fast update on my crosshatch hacked. And this is it. This is the progress I've made. So I'll give you like 2 seconds of the details and then we'll move on. But I am at the end of my white yarn. So I just have I don't have enough to finish a row. So it's just hanging there right now. And I'm going to go grab my other ball. I'm not sure where I put it. And I also have to change project bags for this. So this has been free floating my office for a day or two, but that is a pattern that's inspired by Crosshatch, the pattern by Jared Flood. It is originally done with Brooklyn tweed yarns and 2 different weights. And I am doing Ulysses, which is a light sport yarn, but can be knit up to a DK. And then Knitting for Olive merino, heavy merino, which is a worsted weight yarn. They are both, that's the black, and then the Ulysses is the white. And yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I'm just doing a 2-color brioche with 2 I-cord stitch, like a 2-stitch I-cord on the sides, and that's it. That's the whole of details. I cast on not the number of stitches for the pattern. I don't even think I'm using the needles from the pattern. It's just inspired by that very graphic kind of look. Emily is the inspiration for this. It was a friend knit. Ariel is done. I haven't updated about Emily's, but I'll let her share that on her next podcast episode. And I am just working through mine. I'm hoping to get it done by Thanksgiving, if not a little bit before, so I can wear it this winter season. I love how graphic it is. I feel like wearing that with a cute outfit and red lips is going to be so good. So that's what I'm waiting for. Okay, let's go on to another quick update here. Because again, this one is also missing needles right now. Actually, I just need more 4mm needles because that's I have 8 projects on 4mm needles right now. So I'm just flopping them around. I don't have a ton of update. I wanted to do a little bit more on this week. This is my Scorned Sweater test knit for Claire Jackson, who is perfectly knotted. I was here last week and I added 2.5 stripes. That is it. I meant to pick this up to do the neckline on, but I just didn't have the stamina to do it this week. I did actually sew in almost all of the ends except for these couple right at the top because I want to do the neckline first. So that's what I'll probably do this week, is for sure get the neckline done, maybe go to sleeves and do other things, and get a little bit more body on. I actually had 1 extra body row done and I was using a second skein and it was more pink than this one that I'm almost at the end of. You could tell the difference, and I switched at the stripe, but you could still, it was pretty clear the difference. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna have to use some of that yarn, so that's fine. But what I think I'm gonna do is I I balled up that one. They looked pretty similar in the skein, but they were a little different once I skeined it up or caked it up. So the third ball I had, is more of this like slightly grayer. The other one's just like slightly pinker tone. These are one of a kind. This is not a surprise that that might happen. So I caked that one up, and I'm going to use that one to finish out the body and the tops of the sleeves, hopefully. And then if I need to, I'll hopefully just have that brighter pink in the sleeves and not in the body at all, but we'll sort of see how it goes on how I'm feeling for yardage. So what I'll probably do is add like 3 or 4 of the purple stripes, which will get me quite a far because it'll be, you know, the dark purple stripes too in the sleeves. Go back to body, finish a bunch of the body, and then that might help me determine, because I like to have sleeves done, or at least mostly done, before I have the body done, because I think that changes the shape of your shoulders and may change the, you know, how much it pulls up your body. So all that to be said, I need to just get this going, but this is gonna be so fun. I'm really excited to wear this one. The quick details on that: I am making a size 5, which is a 46-inch bust. Recommended ease is 2 to 6 inches. I'm going with upper bust recommended ease. This is 4mm needles, which is slightly smaller than the pattern, but this yarn is like really sticky. So, because this is both woolen spun non-superwash yarn from Little Fiber Co. And I just needed a smaller needle size. The lighter pink is woolen DK Merino, which she doesn't carry anymore. That's why I got some one of a kind from Flock. And the darker is Mack's My Smelling Salts from the Cinderella collection, which I already have because she brought that to Flock, and that is her woolen DK Corriedale. I like the Corriedale a lot. I think equally soft, both of them, but like the Corriedale is a little bit smoother to knit with. But anyway, so here we are. That's all I have to share. I felt like that was long-winded for, I don't have a lot to share for this, but there was a project update on that, and that is that I had to make some colored decisions. Okay, I'll find needles for this and continue on, but let's go on to something I did make a lot of progress in this week, and that is, still haven't changed my Trader Joe's bag. Oh my gosh, this is so chaos, right? But look at all of these beautiful flowers. They're all totally done now. I do have one that's not got a white middle, and I told you I was going to do that. And this is my last octagon. That was the last one I finished with the yellow inside, and that is going to be the underbelly of the hippo. I already knew where I was going to put that one. And yeah, I just have a bunch of them. There's a lot. I double checked yesterday when I finished my last one. I do have all 44 in the correct colors and the correct sizes and all the things I wanted. So I'm done actually with all these colors now. I still have tons left over. You guys, I could still make like 2 more of these. I don't know. I'm going to weigh these all before I start constructing the hippo. But so that'll give me a good idea of actually how much I used. And then I have this black, and this black will be what I join them all with. And so I will start that next week, over the weekend, probably maybe on Monday or Tuesday. But I will start it. I will get at least to that underbelly one joined, because then you can see like kind of what the legs look like. I might get all of the legs and just not the face joined, so that we can talk about the construction a little bit. It's a join as you go African flower motif plushie. She has many patterns. Sorry, this is Heidi Bear's. She's got many of these patterns, like 20 something. They're all super genius, super cool. They're very smart. She gives you like all of the instructions about how to do the like written and the chart for the flowers. Luckily I've done this many times, so I don't really need to look at it. I just needed to like remind myself, okay, how many rounds are there again? And then like I just looked at the motif. I didn't have to read the instructions. But the join as you go is like these patterns are pages and pages, because it's like these 2 specific things. You do these for this, for the feet to start. Then you do this, and then you add the first of the other things. So I'll talk you through a little bit. I'm not going to give you too many details, but she talks you through every little piece. You do here, and you start on this side around, like, so it's very smart. And for the most part, you don't really have a lot of, I don't remember. I'll have to think about this. I don't think you have very many of the outside round, your 5th round. I don't think you have many ends of that. You do have to cut them, because like you make certain ones first and then you join all together. But like maybe you just hold it under and you just, you know, stitch over it so that you don't have to worry about it. Again, I'm not going to cut any of these ends. The only end I sew in is the middle end, because I do a magic loop instead of what she tells you to do, which is a like 3 chain middle. And that's it. then you just stuff these all in as you go, and it's great. It's fine. It's perfect. I love it. They've never come apart. I've given these to babies. It's going to be for my kid who will play hard with it. And yeah, so progress on the Happypotamus. I'm very excited to get that started and then just like hopefully finished this month. That would be really great. Okay. This is the thing that got the most work this week. Yeah, by far, this project got the most progress this week. And so that's why some things are not quite as much as I wanted to get done, but that's okay because I really wanted to get, I just got in the groove. And being in the groove is not a bad thing. You got to just sometimes go with it. I mean, also I got this done. This felt like still a lot of finishing work and a lot of stuff to do. But I did a lot of progress on this guy. This is my Alchemist Pullover by Wool and Pine Designs, Abbye and Selena. This is a test knit. It will come out in October, I think, or end of October or something like that. Really great sweater. I love their V-necks. I think they do such a really beautiful job on this. This is the first of their patterns I've done that's a contiguous construction sleeve. I'm going to talk to you about this and sizing in a minute because I did get a little video that Abbye made just for me because she's so sweet. When you join tests for them, they'll customize shaping and stuff for you that then they can share with others. Like they'll customize it for you. She literally sent a video just for me to talk about a little bit about the sizing and like why they had some suggested things. And so, which is fine. And she was okay with me choosing the size I chose. I do need to block this because I feel like this is the only thing that got weird from adding the collar is like right by the beginning of the contiguous design. It is a little bit like, this is before you do the increases for the neckline, and like just between the increases for the neckline and the contiguous piece, it's those first increases that are just like laying a little bit funny. When I wash it, this will block out totally fine. I'm not worried about it. And if I really have to, I could just like tug this down a little bit while blocking. So it would sit fine. Actually, when I put it on, you don't notice it as much, but I just want to make sure that lays flat. I think just like now, also in like my bathroom light, I was like looking at it last night, I tried it on and I was like, wow, this tweed is everything. It's so tweedy. It's so fun. You can really see it there. Like, wow, the tweed is fun. The color is gorgeous. It's so dark and so pretty. Okay, so I was here last week. I added, almost 2 inches to the body. I finished out a ball of yarn. I actually added another to the body, and I was going for a little bit because I wanted a certain length before I started the sleeves. I did the neckline. So sleeve wise, I am just over halfway done this one. I have one more decrease, and I think it's like, I may shorten it because I tried this on last night and this is a pretty good place before the cuff. I think the cuff is a full 2 inches. If it's a full 2 inches, then I might only do like 4 rounds and the last decrease and then do the 2-inch cuff. Anyway, I have right now 1 past my second to last decrease. Then I went to this sleeve just to get it started. So yes, I have 3 balls of yarn connected to this right now and I'm living that life. It is quite all right. I'm in a big bag for this and I really love it. I think it's great. Okay, let's talk about the fit a little bit. So I was saying this, I don't love contiguous construction to be less fitted on my shoulders. Now, when Abbye sent me her video, she did point out, and I said this to you, this is quite a wide contiguous construction panel. They did that on purpose so that when you choose your size, if you do choose a little bit more ease, it has a relaxed fit because it's not sitting on the top of your shoulder. It won't like look like a weird drop down here, then have your sleeves, which would be odd, right? That's what I was worried about. But because this panel is broader than your top of your shoulder, really, it like goes a little bit past the back of my shoulder, it will sit as if it was somewhere between like a drop and a raglan, essentially. Like it'll just sit off a little bit. Where it's sitting now, it is even, it's not quite, it's still a little bit wider and it looks fine. So I do think I could have gone a size up and it wouldn't look like weird on me. I still prefer to have less ease in my pullovers that are like this, just for shaping and for like how I like to wear my garments and stuff. And they were okay with me choosing a slightly less ease object. So reminder, I chose a size 5, which is a 48-inch bust. Recommended ease is 4 to 8 inches. My bust is somewhere between 45 and 46 inches. So I'm really close to that lower end of the ease anyway. It's not like I picked something with negative ease. And then it is I'm using the recommended needle size, which is 4.5 millimeter needles. I feel like I am knitting this a little bit tighter than like I would normally hold my yarn, just because the row gauge is a little bit I had to try a little bit for the row gauge, which is fine. I mean, it's overall like not been an uncomfortable knit or anything. And this is back loop fiber, yarn and fiber in the color Slate. She's not dyeing anymore, but this color is just really fun, really gorgeous. You can't see, there's a little bit of like lighter panel right here. It's not all the way across and it's not on the back. And it literally is like the end of one skein and the beginning of another. And so it's just like, it just happened to be like kind of color pulling there, but not in a super noticeable way. I'm really excited to have this done. I don't know that I'll get it done next week, but having some of the finishing, like the neckline being done, and also I was worried, I did pick slightly less stitches up in the neckline. They wrote that into, like, necklines can do a lot for how open your V-neck is, and they wrote a bunch of stuff in here. I think I actually only did 12 rows instead of 14, and I like that. It's nice and open, but it's not too deep. Anyway, so I will get sleeves done for sure this week. I mean, getting almost, you know, it would be one and a little less than half if I had just finished this sleeve, but I feel like that was really good. But I'll finish both sleeves, and I will hopefully finish a couple more inches of the body. So I also stopped in the body because I did not realize this until I swear I read through this pattern and it just like didn't occur to me, like in the measurement wise, it split hem. And I think I knew that, but I didn't realize how deep the hem was. And I've seen pictures of this, so it just like didn't occur to me. But you do like five or six inches of split hem. This puts to mind like the Yun sweaters, less dramatic than that. But for where I'm comfortable having the split, I may add an inch or two to the body before doing the split and do slightly less length in the split. I also want to look at the overall length that they have written in schematics, because they often write longer sweaters than I like to wear, just like where my torso sits with my hips. They're usually okay with you changing the lengths of stuff as long as, like, you know, all the pieces are still there, and I put notes in my Ravelry page. So that's the one thing I need to change. I still have not put a picture in the test knit for this, so I need to do this because I'm in love with it. It's so, so good. So trying it on last night was good. All the things are good. Just progressing onwards. And that's another one that once I go down to ribbing, I'm going to need 4mm needles again. I just need more of them. Send help, need more 4mm needles. Okay. Let's talk about another super quick update, because I have color. I have to show you progress, but not a lot. Interesting things happened yet. I did not make my goal here, and that is that I want to be done the back panel of my Elton. I am technically done to the measurements in the pattern, but I said this before, I'm knitting a size 4 on this. This is the Elton by Hohi Locatelli, who is Hohi Locat on Instagram. I made this as a sample for La Mercerie 2 years ago for Flock in like their custom colorways. So I talked about it then. It did fit me. I tried that sample on. The one thing that I noted, and I noted it in my project page too, is that it's quite a big drop. This is like 54 inches. It's gonna be, you know, even more drop than this one, right? So imagine a couple more inches on each side, like here. Still, my bicep here is bigger than the schematic of what that armhole was. I fit my arm into the sample I gave Jess, but it felt like tight and like a little bit uncomfortable. Like I've had flex my muscle or lift up something heavy, it would have like been uncomfortable. So the only really way to change that is both to pick up a little bit more stitches, but I need more actual armhole length. I was talking to Sophia, who said that she test knit this weekend. We were talking about this on our like craft chat call, and she said that was her feedback also in the test. And like, oh, he has a small person and she has small arms, and she just didn't like scale up necessarily enough for these bigger sizes. So I am just disregarding that measurement of the first part, and I'll do this same for the front. Is that you just knit to a certain length, and I think it said 6 inches or 6 1/4, and I'm gonna go all the way to a little bit over 7, just a little, like I think I have 2 rows left. Where I measured last night, I was like, oh, I'm really close, but no cigar. And so I think I just have to finish, I'll do 2 rows into a fingering weight stripe, and then I will be done. But the colors are so fun. It is just one color yarn, but I am using a mohair and a fingering weight held single in stripes. And so you can sort of see, it's hard to capture on camera. You can really see it live. This is just making the colors seem colory, but you can kind of see like this is a little thinner here. You can see it if you look here. There's like some fuzz stripes. That way I feel like you can see it a little bit more, even just from the sideways. But anyway, so there's definitely two yarn weights in here, but it's one color. And you can tell that, I mean, it looks gorgeous. Like, I think this is so, so fun. I'm really loving it. Both of these colors are Lamb Good Fibers. I've got to have a flock of this color from the flock 2023. This was their booth special color. And Sylvan got some skeins, one of each. I got one of each. We were going to make hats. Then she gave me hers in our last yarn swap, which was like January. So I decided I was going to make this. It's, if I'm looking with my eyeballs, it's super see-through looking. Like, I really can't tell the difference. It's just really hard to show on camera. So I'm excited for that. Definitely going to pick up the fronts this weekend, and get that started. Keep the momentum going on that. The end of the cowl, I did look it up, is November 30th. So I have time and I'll be fine. It is a lot of stitches. It's a lot flat. Once I get in the round, it's going to go so fast because it's just going to be like fun stripes in the round, but it's not as fun knitting flat, single weight, like single strands of mohair, but that's okay. I will be done with it. And that's one of the cowls that is going on that I have cowl chat for. So if you're on my Discord and you are doing one of the Hohi knit alongs, Hohi does have like a Ravelry big thread of chat thread, but I am not a big Ravelry chatter. It's just a thing. It's a thing for me. It's like just not a forum I love to write in. It feels too anonymous maybe. Like I just don't know any of those people. But if you had submitted a form and you see me in the pullover one, and so eventually maybe when I join the fronts or like just join it in the round, then I'll finally post a picture. Okay, here's a quick update also. I got a lot of progress. Oh, this is a new cast on actually. There is 2 new cast ons. I cast this on Thursday night, I believe. So it feels like I've had this on the needles for a while. That's less than a week, guys. Don't be dramatic. I am in another test knit. I told you I was in a lot of test knits. I've got the Scorned Sweater. That's not due until November. The Alchemist, which will be due in October. I will be fine on both of those for sure for time-wise. This one is a shorter test because this is just a small, kind of basic cowl. There's 3 sizes. There's a youth, adult small, and adult large. I am knitting the youth size because I decided to put this in for Theo. This is a test knit for Tori Yu. This is called the Curiosity Cowl. If you're also knitting this cowl, I'd love to know all about it, what colors they're using. Somebody in the Discord just posted their final one and they stayed up late to finish it last night, and I was like, it's really pretty. I do want to make one for myself maybe, and not these jarringly, I said, Theo picked these out and she loves it. She thinks these colors are great. I would not wear this. It's so ugly, but also like, I'm never going to yuck her yum to her. If she wants to wear this, she can wear this. It's fine. I let her pick her clothes. She's a little chaos. She's really into bluey and blippy right now. So this blue and orange reigns supreme over here in this household. My mom's favorite color is also orange. My mom wears a lot of orange. So Theo also says her favorite color is orange. I love that for her. So I want her, her and Grammy best friends forever. That's great. Perfect. So this is the direction that it is right now. So this will be what is joined in the back in the cowl. This is how it'll continue going. And then you do decreases not that far from now. And then you'll, anyway, it's just a bandana cowl. And then I'll have the back of this. The sizing really is that youth is like, I probably fits kids, like most kids. Really, it's the craziest thing. Kids' head circumferences, once they're not babies, like even toddlers, it's pretty big, but their heads still look really small. The circumference is big, but they don't have like a lot of height on their head, right? Like it continues growing, but it doesn't grow a ton this way, right? It grows more like lengthwise. So going around her neck, it's not a huge number of inches difference. So it'll, but it'll fit her. It might be a little bit drapey on her right now, but that's fine. It's got a shine. You are correct. So the yarns I'm using for this is I am using the Skein of Hadges Forever. Something that was like free from a D-stash. This is Malabrigo worsted. We're familiar with this yarn. I've used it for several different projects. And then I spun this heinously orange yarn. Do you guys remember this? This is like another, maybe this was wool for the dame. It was my first bat that I spun from, maybe, and it was heavily sari silk and heavily orange. And the sari silk is in here, plus there's Selena. So it's like silk and Selena. The silk was more of the blue. I think there's like quite a blue and green silk in here. And this just only looks orange right now too. Horribly orange, like merino. It's so ugly, but it's so happy for her. She loves it. I'm a good way through this, so I'll definitely finish this next week. I kind of was thinking I would finish it this week, but I put it down after Monday and I haven't picked it up since. I do have to do 3 more increases maybe, then I do the decreases, which is not that many, then I bind off. So easy peasy. I'll soak it, I'll block it, and I'll sew it up just like the grid gambit. Think about grid gambit. What else did I do that was like this? Brioche biased cowl from Bridget Zhao. And so it's very similar shaping. It like, for whatever reason, every time I start it, I'm like, well, obviously I'm just reading the instructions, but I'm like, I really have to get my mind to think about like what part of what am I doing? So like you remember where the increases are and stuff, because at some point you're only increasing one side, some of it's 2, then it's decreasing 1, then it's decreasing 2. Yeah, it's a bunch of stuff. So, but I really enjoy that shape, and it's like fun and easy to wear, and I'm excited for her to have it. So I have moved her to the ladybug bag, which is why I need to find something different for my crosshatch. Okay, that's all for that. Let's go on to my last new cast on this week, which I'm very excited about. And I need to do more prep for this too. During our craft chat call, I did this. I took 2 strands from 2 different Nudiden cakes and I rolled it up to make this ball, to make it easier to pull off and knit double. I only have this ball done like this, and so I need to make like 2 more for myself to get ready to go with this, because I think I'm going to use it up pretty quickly. This is going to look a little chaos right now because I'm on 2 separate things. I did not realize, because I didn't read the instructions before I started, obviously. This is just for me, and this is for the unspun cowl that I'm hosting. It's really just for fun cowl. If you are working on an unspun project, you want the push to work on an unspun project, you have a whip that you want to finish that's in unspun yarn, this is the time. We're running into fall, we're in all the yarny extra woolly goodness times, and so here's your push and reminder to work on your unspun yarn. We even influenced somebody on the craft chat call, because both Ursula and I were talking about what we were going to do for the unspun, and that's when I was rolling up this yarn, and we influenced somebody to buy yarn on the spot. She got some Nudiden to join us, which I think is super fun. So this is my new cast on for the Oversized Seasons Cardigan by Ozetta. I did on purpose choose the oversized version because it is got more ease, but also is actually size inclusive. The regular seasons cardigan is not, and I think she didn't go back and update a lot of her patterns, and so she has since been making like a concerted effort to make size inclusive designs. So I'm going to continue to buy them if I want them, but I don't generally buy non-size inclusive patterns. So here it is. Okay, let's talk about this. How is this created? Here's my pattern gripe for this week. It certainly wasn't the Tori Yu pattern, which I think are always clear and easy to read and understand what's going on. But there's a lot of vegetable matter in this. I don't know if you can see this little wood bit or grass bit, but I find them, if I feel them and they bother me, I'll pull them out while I'm knitting or while I'm just touching the garment. Otherwise, they're just living in here. But okay, my gripe was not the very beginning of the pattern. Not also reading this, I did not really think about the fact that this is on 2 different sets of needles, and she just uses DPNs, but that I would absolutely lose. So I'd much rather keep them on these 2 needles for the rest of the garment and just have it be a little bit crazy that way. But you are knitting your button band at the same time as you're knitting your sweater. Great. Love that. Having them on 2 different needles, don't love that as much. That's pretty annoying, but still would rather not have to pick up, especially with this unspun, have to pick up risk all the rips and other things and double knit, and I don't want to do any of that. So I would much rather have this ribbed collar. This is very reminiscent of like the field day cardigan, except for you do this a little bit differently. So you pick up a knit, I did not do a provisional cast on for this just because I didn't want to. So I really was just feeling lazy last night. I did all of this while we watched a couple episodes of Wednesday, and that was bringing me like all the fall joy. Very fall woolly yarn, a very fall show. If I had just been drinking a chai tea, it would have been the most fall moment. So anyway, I just did a regular cast on, long tail cast on, and she puts in the option for either. You could do a provisional. I don't mind having at the very back of my neck a little seam. It's fine. Then instead of leaving and doing whatever you do, like just a bunch of cast on stitches, because I think they didn't like match up number wise, this one you're actually just picking up the number that she specifies across, and you do by measurements for this. So it's not necessarily a specified number of rows. So what I had to do was I got to the whatever inches I needed. I took the number of stitches I needed to go, or like I took the number of rows that were existing. I did a little bit math on the number of stitches I would need to pick up across, making sure that I picked up right at the join so I didn't have any kind of weird gap there. And that was it. That's really all you have to do. Then you keep your button band on these separate 4mm needles. I am just using the needles per pattern, and I'm pretty close to gauge. I'm not going to be dead on for row gauge. Nudidin is just fluffier. It's harder to get row gauge. So I'm going to have to probably modify a little bit, but that's okay. So then after you pick them up, you really just start knitting with your 5mm needles in however she says for the pattern. Then you get to your next end and you do your rib knit in your 4mm, which is really, it's a little bit annoying. There's like a little bit of yarn, really needle management going on, but overall it's fine. I'm like maxed out on space though already for this little needle I had picked up to start with for my 5mm needles. So I'm going to need to, the other thing I need to do this weekend is just like swap around some cables. I'm like running out of my ChowGoo cables, and I got 2 more this past weekend. So that's fun. But I'm really liking actually how it's coming out so far. I think this is pretty fun. This is a half fisherman's rib. If you don't know what that stitch means, it just means that on your right side rows, you're knitting one below, so into the stitch below, and then you're purling. And then on your wrong side row, you are just knitting across. Doing half fisherman's rib in a cardigan is awesome because you don't have to purl rows across. You just knit across. I'm going to do that the whole way, except for when you get to sleeves, which will be a little bit more annoying, but that's fine as sleeves. So yeah, excited for this. Okay, here's my gripe though in the pattern. Once you start, so you pick the pickup row is pretty self-explanatory. She tells you where to do it. Then you do like a setup row, and in the setup row, you have to start your fisherman's rib. She writes the setup row. I just feel like her instructions are full in that everything you need is in the pattern, but in a really strange order. So it tells you the setup row, then it tells you your wrong side row, then it tells you your increase row, your raglan increase row. Then it tells you some of them also have a neckline increase row. And then like mixed in between like the raglan increase and the neck increase, there's like a bunch of notes on like when you do your setup row, make sure you're mirroring something, like just stuff that was way before in the pattern. So, and it even says like, it doesn't even say work 8 stitches. It's just like do your ribbing and then 8 stitches and then put a marker. And I was like, hold the phone. What am I supposed to be doing? At the end of that row, not in a note before, which doesn't make any sense to me because that's not how you read. At the end of the row instructions, it was like, for more information, see page 8 at, and it's like a special view, private video case of YouTube videos that you can only get to through this showcase with the password because you bought the pattern. Like, Haley, okay, that's fine, but put that ahead. Put a note here. For all raglan increases, you can watch videos here. Also, make sure you're mirroring, because like you don't have to watch the videos if you had just gotten that note. I watched the videos, actually. This was not bad. I did all of this part and like my first row while watching Wednesday with Mike, and then he went to bed and I worked on this, and I watched the videos to knit, to do a cross. So your first 4 raglan increases, she has a video for, and they're only like 2.5 minutes each. And you don't have to watch her do it all across the back panel. I'm going to say this, like, not with any snark, but I knit faster than Haley because she is an English style knitter. So she has to like put her yarn down. So I was able to get across the whole row just during the video, so I could just follow along. But she tells you the increase on both sides, and that's written into the pattern. The notes that are important is for the first row, especially, you need to, how you choose to start the fisherman's rib pattern is important. For the second raglan, she tells you how to read it to make sure your increases are getting incorporated correctly. That is a little bit like, you could figure out that if you're an advanced knitter, but is great if you are like haven't done fisherman's rib in a design, not sure how the pattern's going to work, etc. The third increase is where you do the neckline one. So I just wanted to watch that to see, like, did she have any tips on that for integrating, which she did, and that was fine. And then the fourth one was also just, it was just a reminder of like, that's how you're going to go forward. The second one had like a special note that was because it's the very beginning. Do you know what I mean? Going forward, she does make a note that was helpful, though still would have been helpful at the very beginning, is that every third increase, I think it's for the whole pattern, you do a neckline increase for the raglan thing. So you have to like make a note, mark somewhere, whatever. I just decided to put a note inside of my phone that just says, you know, increase thing, and then I'll cross them out or do a little checkbox that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. But on 3 it says plus neck, you know, a 6 plus neck. So I just like know that like I'm going through and checking them off, and I know that I have that one next. I did 2 neck increases. So I think I think I just finished raglan increase 6, and I have to do like 20 something. So this is very beginning, starts here still, but I am enjoying it. Okay. Size 4 and 5 have beginning same counts, so I could still change my mind, but I think I'm going for size 4. Yes, this is supposed to be oversized, and it's supposed to have 7 inches of positive ease, and 53 inches, which is size 5, is really close to that. But I was more worried that this nudidin would be much bigger than pattern. Like, no matter how much you try holding a double, this is my first time holding a double to make it, and this is like all nudidin's not exactly the same as like the last plates I had, etc. So I want to essentially knit a little bit more before I really decide what size I'm going to make. So if I'm feeling this is pretty on gauge, I may do closer to the counts for size 5 and give myself a little bit more ease, because 48 inches is not a lot of, not really any ease on me. And I do want to have a little bit of oversize, especially in the arm. So I'm going to look at some stuff, but I do think I'm going to have an issue with the row length. So I'm not sure if I can even like push for much faster raglan increases. So I may just be like, I may do the 48 just because I don't want it to be like super deep in where before I split for sleeves. And if that's where I finish this, the increases is kind of deep, and 53, because like all the beginning stitch counts are the same for those, and it's just doing slightly more increases. And so we'll see as I go along if I adjust which size I'm making. I don't have to make that determination this week, probably not even next week, and then we'll evaluate, but it's something to keep in mind. I'm shooting for either a 4 or a 5 here. Then I am holding nudidin double. It is this off-white creamy color. No, I do not know the name of the color. I do not know what year this came out. I've had this for at least 2 years, and I got it on DStash from somebody, so your guess is as good as mine. And yeah, I think like there's going to be quite a lot of unevenness just with holding nudidin double. It's wider stitches than Haley's. Haley used Snefnug for her sample in white, and it's gorgeous. But I have this, and so I want to use what I have, and I think it's going to be like really warm and really cozy. So that's where I am. I'd also like to use more of this yarn, so like I'm really okay if I do a bigger size, and I can use like all of it, or nearly all of it. So so that's where we are for all of the projects. It's a lot of projects this week. Let's go on to the last thing, which is my book snake. I mean, I guess that's always the last project, but also books. Okay, so here I was last week. I've got 5 books added. One of them I really debated if I was going to add it to the snake, and we'll talk about the last one. Why? But I did. So it's, the decision has been made. But I finished 5 books this week. One of them, the first one was one that I finished with my eyeballs. I'm nearly done the next book in this series too, and this is the Edens series by Devney Perry. I am loving Devney Perry books. I like her writing style. I like the amount of like danger that's been in this series. It seems like a lot of drama for one small town in Montana and for one family, but you know, when you got a lot of kids, maybe there is just a lot of drama once they start finding life partners and things. But this one is Jasper Vale. I also find this interesting because this is the only one that I think in the whole series. Like, the first one is called Indigo Ridge, and that's the landmark. It's the most important thing that happens in the book, happens around Indigo Ridge. The second one is called Juniper Hill, and that is the place where the guy's house is, and that's also an important landmark in it. The third one, the landmark is not as important and is, I mean, I don't even know if it's important at all, but it's just a place they talk about sometimes called Garnet Flats. Yeah, Garnet Flats. And then this one is just called Jasper Vale, and that's just a character's name. And like Vale is a place, so I guess that was like okay. And Jasper is technically like a color because it's a gem, but like I found that to be like an odd choice. But this is just Jasper Vale, and he's the character. He's the love interest in this one, and this is about Eloise, and this is that you find out in the very end of the 4th book. Is this 5? Oh, this is 4. You find out in the very end of the 3rd book that these two characters are already married, and it was nothing, no one knew about it. That's all you have to really know, is that there's a Vegas wedding, and then there's a lot of lies and other things. Jasper's very private. You kind of dig into his past a little bit. Eloise is not private, and also I liked their story a lot. Drama, I knew exactly what the drama was going to be about halfway through, but I really liked the way she handled a couple of the things in this. And yeah, overall, I think they're entertaining books with like, yeah, good amounts of drama. And a lot of times, like sometimes it's like the relationship drama, and like in this particular one, they were figuring a lot of stuff out, but the big dramatic thing was not them, which I loved. That was good. Okay. Like not some stupid miscommunication thing. Okay, this second one here is called Pucking Strong. This is Jacksonville Ray's book, number 4 by Emily Rath. This one just came out this year, I think. These I read last year or the year before. These are a hockey romance about a team in Jacksonville, Florida. It's like an expansion team. So it's like the beginning, the first one happens. This happens like 6 years after the first book. The first one happens is like just a brand new team, and everyone's kind of figuring things out. And also there's a lot of like LGBTQ type relationship happening, when like multiple partners, and like these are very spicy books in the sports world. I really love these books. There's a lot of people who say they're like overhyped. I think the first one is great. I think the second one is good. I didn't love the second one as much as I liked, I think, the third one, even though I love Ryan as a character. There are these like also Pucking Ever After. I think there's 2 of them that are just like vignette stories of like their life once they are couples. And they're mostly just like fluffy scenes, like smutty scenes only. This one, you do find out what the plot's going to be like at the end of the last book. And basically, I won't give all the things away, but 2 characters do it's not a forced marriage. It's a marriage of convenience, to help in a legal situation. And it is fantastic. I really enjoyed reading this, like so much. So much. Henrik was like, I have all the love for Henrik. I really loved it. Teddy's great too, but I had all the love for Henrik in this one. I just thought it was really like, I think I cried at one point. Like, it was just really like, it got me. Okay. The next one is called, and quite spicy too. Very spicy. Okay, so then the next one here, and so I just picked like background color for those first two. And then this one here is called Play With Me, which is the Playing for Keeps series, also a hockey romance. This is number 2 though in the series by Becka Mack. These are based in Vancouver. And they're NHL players and, you know, finding love, changing their ways, whatever other things. I'm really hoping Adam gets the next book. I don't know when this one was published. Let me look. Oh, this one was 2022. So there must be more out in the series, and I will continue reading them because I'm here for Adam. I want him to have a book. But this book was about Jenny and Garrett, and Garrett's on the team, and Jenny is our last, the first book, main character. It's his little sister. So there's like forbidden romance also like on your team, and like he's super overprotective and all the things. She has some past relationship trauma. He just hasn't, he maybe didn't want to fall in love, maybe is the thing. I really liked both of them. I thought this was pretty fun, also very spicy. Another one where I thought that the conflict and like the things in the end were not like super dumb or insurmountable issues. It was just like they were just like, they're still pretty young and like kind of just figuring things out, and I didn't think it was like inappropriate that they like needed a little bit of a break and then got back together. So and they showed up for each other, and that was what mattered. And so and I really love the colors in this one. I thought that it was really good, like with the cover, kind of like those covers are so beautiful. Okay, and so here's my theme this year is like gold, blues, and then we're in the dark stuff. So I got this book from my TBR, and this has been suggested by a bunch of people for me to read, like mostly like people I watch on like YouTube or Instagram. But this is called Forged in Blood. It is by Sadie Kincaid. I think this is my first Sadie Kincaid books. The first one is called Broken, or it's the first of the Broken Bloodlines series. And then I actually just went ahead and read the novella last night that I just like needed something easy to read while I was finishing up some yarn things. And this so it's 0.5. It did get recommended to me as like the first one to read. I'm actually glad I didn't read it first because I think that it was really short. It was like 58 pages or something. And on audio, it was like 2 hours, which means it was an hour for me to listen to, right? Like, because I listened to 2x. It was very fast. I don't know that it added a ton to the story. I don't know that it would made me feel like sympathetic or anything really about those characters. Like, it was fine to read. It was nice to get a little backstory now because I already knew who they were, but I'm glad I read it in the order I read it in. So even though, you know, this is the prequel, and it's really just backstory and they don't give you a lot of information. So I don't know that I would have read it as a prequel. Like, I wouldn't suggest to read it as a prequel, at least. So Forged in Blood though is, very spicy, romantic-y book about like a world that has witches, werewolves, and vampires. They live among us, but humans don't know. And there's a university where they all go, coexist, learn, get like selected for their whatever secret societies and stuff. Humans do go there, and humans are kind of just food, but also like they don't kill humans necessarily to feed the vampires. And like werewolves, they use this for like pack order and stuff. And I don't know, the witches like learn. We don't learn a lot about that. What I will say is I like reflected on this one this morning. It was spicy. You definitely learn a bit about our main character. She doesn't necessarily grow very much in this book. And the boys have a big growth in this book. This is a Why I Choose romantasy. And they grow, but like not on purpose. And also nothing really happens in this book. Other than the fact that they meet. There's not like a big world shift. There's not a bunch of other stuff other than like this little discovery about her kinda, but like it's not a surprise to you. So like I don't know, like I just kind of felt like it was a lot of setup, and I'm hoping that the other books have more stuff in them. And so this was released 2024. So I don't know that there's like, I don't know if the series, I don't think the series is done. Let me look. Okay, so the third of the series did come out this year. So I'll read them. I mean, I found it to be interesting, and also the smell was good. So like, I'm gonna read it. I don't know that I love any of them right now though. So my mind might change. What I will say though is this is like kind of it's a full cast reading, but it's not a dramatized version. But because there are 4 dudes in this, 3 of them are like the kind of enforcers for this one vampire secret society, and the 4th is their sire, who is like the professor, and he's like the oldest, you know, he's older, he's like real old. Talk about like really old. Sometimes with this vampire stuff, it's like they're 200 years old and this girl is 18, and I think that's pretty gross if you really think about it. But this vampire, this old one, he's like 2,000 years old. I don't even know what your thought process would be like if you were 2,000 years old and you were like hanging out with an 18-year-old. Like, good golly. Okay. So we just have to like set that aside when we read these books, and we're like, oh, just vampire smut, it's fine. But yeah, so that's what I read this week. And I did measure, and I'm now at 15 feet and 5 inches. So it's growing, but not exponentially right now. Like, I mean, it's growing. I do have an acquisition, and then I think we're kind of done with things. And so this acquisition is actually for another test knit. I told you there's another one coming. Claire put out a test knit call for socks, and y'all, it was like, nope, can't do it. I'm not knit any of her sock patterns, and she does anatomical toes, and they're DK weight, and I would have loved to make them. I can't. Maybe her next ones. I have other things. I just got the first part of the pattern for this, so I'm going to cast this on this weekend, hopefully, because this also is not a super long time frame. But look at this yarn. Okay, this is Woolfolk yarn. I love to test for Woolfolk. They do provide test yarn support for some of their testers, and so this is the Far yarn. This is 100% Ovis Merino. Ovis 21 Ultimate Merino. Let's be specific. This is the like specific flock that they get their yarn from. Super, super soft. They say always 1% of their profit goes back to the Ovis 21, and it's a really interesting construction. First of all, let's admire the color. It's not picking up quite as cool as it did. Well, that's pretty good actually. It's a very, very light, cool purple gray. It does lean a little bit more purple in like sunlight than it does like inside right now. This just looks like icy gray to me, but it is purple. It's a lovely color. The color I think of this one is like what, 40. Okay, so color 40. They don't have names for them. And this is a DK weight. It is 142 yards for 50 grams. So like 284 is what you get for 100 grams. But the stitches and rows, it says like 16 stitches for 4 inches on a 4 to 5 millimeter needle, 16 to 17. So that is like pretty plump. It feels super light and nice, but let's look close. This is a chain net yarn, 100% wool chain net yarn. This is my first time using anything like this. I've seen it before from them. It's really pretty. Wow, look at that. And I looked at these plies, and these plies are not super, super tight. I think that's what gives it the really lofty air quality. But you can see here, in the individual ply, it's not like, you can see kind of the air there, and how, so it's really just, I mean, it's chain plied. It's a chain net yarn. So they're doing essentially what you do in a chain ply, but they're doing it every, you know, quarter inch or eighth of an inch or whatever is a new chain stitch. So it just creates that like little chain grid. I think that I'm hoping it has nice stitch definition. I'm also hoping this is not going to pill quite as much as like just other yarn that would be this soft. This is non-superwash yarn. When you have such a soft yarn, especially non-superwash, because there's not any of this like treatment to it, it is going to pill. There's not really any way around that. It's wool. It's going to rub on itself. it's going to come off. I mean, even commercial things that you get that are like nylon and cotton are going to pill, right? This is not going to be as hardy as that, but it's so soft. And I am hoping that this chain, like this construction of the yarn, is going to give it a little bit more longevity. I'll wait to flash a picture up of the test until I actually cast it on. Or I am knitting for a new to me designer, and I'm really loving it. I'm really loving the color. And I'm really excited to get it on the needles. And so yeah, I'm gonna cake some of that up. I just picked a size, then they gave me as much yarn as that. This is 100% gifted to me. I get to keep the final object. I don't have very much socials, like kind of requirements, but they do ask that you post when the pattern goes live and stuff. So I will still give you my honest feedback. I've always given my honest feedback for Wool Folk Yarn. I've now done 3 tests for them. This will be the 3rd, I think. And one of them was my linen yarn, and one of them was that bulky yarn. And I've given you my opinions about that. I mean, both of them had their ups, you know, like goods and bads for the yarn. I like weirdly, that's my other gray thing, is I have that button up. I don't grab that as much just because like button up is not always my vibe. But that yarn was so crunchy to work with and washed so beautifully and wears so well just because of the linen. So, you know, here's linen for you, and linen in its like most natural format, really. And then the flat bulky was like real annoying to knit with just because bulky boucle, and that I don't think there's anything around that. I don't think it matters who you get it from. It was really soft, and that is going to be something I wear like 100% of this winter. So I mean, it's the things, right? Goods and bads. But this one I think I'm going to enjoy working with. So hopefully I equally love the thing, and there is no bads for this, but we'll see. This is going to be a long episode. Sorry about that. There's a lot of whip stuff. So if you are wanting to get the push for some unspun things and you have not made the plunge yet, please do join our unspun cowl. I just have a separate channel in the Discord so we can like share progress pictures and cheer each other on and stuff. You can ask questions there. I'll put a progress picture in there very shortly. And then, yeah, I mean, just otherwise, I'd love to know what you're working on. You guys give me such good inspiration. Oh, what I will say is I got a lot of feedback that people were like not super interested in a fall, separate fall pattern video. I'm not gonna lie, I don't dislike that. Like, here's the thing is like, I often don't feel like I would follow up with you anyway, or do like did I accomplish my things for that? Because I'm already telling you my goals regularly. What I'll try to do is be a little bit more, like, my plans change a lot, right? But I'm going to try to show you the yarn and the patterns a little bit more often when I'm talking about the new cast-ons. So I'll show you that today. I actually have 2 of these caked up. This will be the next thing I cast on, and I do need to cast this on this weekend, regardless of finishing anything else. This is for my Mila cardigan. This beautiful stormy gray color, gray purple color. This is Earthy DK Squim from Explore Knits and Fibers, and this is the Mila pattern. So this is a pattern by Sari Nordland, and it is a reversible cardigan. I'm so excited for this. I think that's the coolest thing. So this is a double knit button band, so I do think I have to pick that up and do it after. I'm really excited though. So I am going to make it in this. I think it's going to look really great. I am, now that I have this cables off, I'm ready for this cables, and especially because I really am thinking the half fisherman's rib, like the seasons cardigan, is not going to take too much out of me, like, because it's not charts or anything. You're just following the stitch pattern. So this one is charted. It's going to take the mental energy. I'm okay to have one of those on the needles right now. So this is on my Make 9. This is the next thing that'll get cast on. The thing right after that, and I'm hoping I'll cast this thing on once I'm done Theo's cowl this weekend. And I have 1 cake already caked up of this, but this is some Mad Tosh yarn. It's a one-of-a-kind color that Katie had 3 skeins of, and I think it's 3 full skeins, or it might be 2 in most of one. It's 250 yards for 100, and this is like 115 grams. It doesn't say on here. Just says DK weight, 250 yards. That's hilarious. Does not tell you the weight of this skein. But I am, you can see it's just like it's a superwash. No, it's not superwash. It's just 100% wool. It's just a really pretty, like, pinky. It has some orange flecks in it. It has some black flecks in it. Theo loves black. She loves pink. She loves orange. So I'm really excited to get her, like, has some really fun speckles. So I have 3 skeins of this. And so I'm going to make her, I was like really waffling on this, what design I was going to use, but I think I've gone back too. I'm going to make her the flax. It's a free pattern. Heard really good things. It's got all the sizes from kid to grown up. And that is by Tin Can Knits. And so I am going to cast that on in a size that will fit her for maybe a little bit longer. I might make these sleeves a little bit longer and do a really long cuff. So for right now, she can fold it, and for later she could have the cuff down. This is how I'm trying to get longevity out of some of these knits for her. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit to her regular size. And then when I get close to where her waist is now, I'm going to make it a peplum. And I'm going to just do this by myself with no pattern, but I'm just going to like increase one for every stitch, I think, to make the peplum. Just after like looking at some other patterns that had that in it, that's what I'm going to do. So hopefully, I mean, 2.5 skeins should be plenty enough for me to get her even a little bit of flare. I don't think I'm going to do lace or anything on the end. I might just do a folded bind off instead of just to give it a little bit more weight too. So that's my fun and exciting plans for this. So these are the 2 next cast-ons for sure. I don't think I'll cast anything on in between. And then obviously this one. So that's like, you guys, I already have so many projects. Okay, currently I have 8 projects on my needles. Crosshatch, Scorned Sweater, Alchemist Pullover, Elton Pullover, Happypotamus, the Curiosity Cowl, and the Oversized Seasons Cardigan, and then the Book Snake. So let's not count the Book Snake and call that 7, because the Book Snake only takes me about like less than an hour a week now to work on. I will also take out, I will finish the Curiosity Cowl. So before I do the Curiosity Cowl, then once that's finished, I'll put this on the needles. I'm probably not going to finish the Alchemist before I put this on, but that's kind of going to be the swap of my time. So I'll cast this on, not do a ton of it, but just get it started so I know like I'm on gauge and other things. Then finish the Alchemist Pullover to be the time and space for this. And then I'm just adding this one in here. Happypotamus should be done in 2 weeks. I'm also not going to take a ton of time to work on that, since I'm going to show you guys the first half and then the second. I've got a set amount of time that I'm going to work on that this week. And though, yes, it does take time to do that 5th round and stuff, it's actually not as much as you would think. Like maybe 6 or 7 hours to get that fully finished at the end. Maybe I'll time myself to see what it is. So it's hours, but like that's, you know, like one evening. It's not like many evenings to work on it. So big things happening and changes, but I gotta just go for it, right? So this is what's happening. More projects all the fall, like vibes and feels and sweaters happening. I do now, this is the only t-shirt I had on my needles, and so t-shirts the next thing to be thought of. I think my current plan, I had to find both of these. My current plan is this. And so if you watch Ariel's podcast, you'll know she just did her Nolita tank in this, how double not that long ago. And it was really lovely. This is Sea Change Fibers, Space Shore Fingering, which is 25% Shanico and 75% cotton. And I want to make the marigold tee. So I'll put a picture of that up here. So this will be the next thing that I plan for. I'm just not sure when I'll get it on the needles, but I do want to have a t-shirt on my needles like most of the time for the next year. So, and a lot more in the spring and summer next year. So, but I want to keep one on. So I do need to bump something off before I put this on, because that'll just be too much for me. So we'll just see how fast I work through some of the stuff that's on the needles right now. And that's it. Now for real, that's all I have to tell you about stuff. So I would love to know what you are knitting on right now. Do you have any fun plans? Tell me both your yarn combos, colors, and what you're working on. All right, I hope that you guys grab some stuff from Reshma's collection if you did. There's so many good collections out there right now. It's not a time for me to be like, oh, I'm not going to buy yarn, but I am doing that. I did buy something from Reshma's. I'll share it when I get it. And yeah, I can't wait to hear what you're working on. I hope that you got a lot of good crafting done. Remember to stretch your bodies, get up and move around, and I will see you next week.